Welcome. With the growing usage in CCTV, dash cameras and mobile devices, we have seen a rise of creepy and unnerving footage online, whether it be an odd event or a strange encounter with somebody. In recent time, that occurred with a known YouTuber known as Artari. Artari, known for covering mysteries like Kenny Veach and cooking lifestyle videos too, though her most recent video took a darker turn. In April of 2022, Hawaii, Artari decided to go out for the day with her husband. Everything seemed fine. It was nice, sunny and warm. Until they were returning back home, things got a little creepy. Whilst driving down a long road towards their house, Artari noticed a strange lone individual on the side of the road walking down towards the house. His behaviour and body language seemed a little creepy. It's when she was driving past when eye contact was made. He kind of smiled. He gave some kind of gesture as well, which you'll see shortly. His face in the recording almost looked skeleton-like, and at one moment it seemed as if his face shape-shifted or transformed, as if his mouth disappeared. It was very creepy and somewhat unnerving. Now, at the time when they passed by, Atari asked her husband if they could turn back the way they came to get another glance at the individual. But in doing so, that lone guy decided to turn back himself and go the way he came, which is a little odd. Was he caught out? I don't know. Was he a hitchhiker or a homeless individual? We don't know. But from what Atari has previously said, there is known history of the individual being present within the area, as there was a sighting of him once in their back garden or so, near the top of a vehicle. The sheeting was pulled down and the door was left open to the vehicle. Maybe he was squatting there because he's homeless. Or did he have other plans? What would he have done if Atari didn't drive back the way they came? Where was he going? Hi, welcome. So as you saw in the intro of this video, we're going to be taking a look at a different mystery, a creepy one to say the least. Now, Atari has allowed me to cover this, okay, that you see on screen right now. It does kind of tie in with Kenny Veach, but we'll get into that later on in the video, okay? So to begin with things, you may have seen a bit of the footage before and even on her video. But what I want to do is play it back, rewind and pause just to get a clearer image of the individual. Maybe try and filter it, see if that reveals anything, makes it clearer, easier to identify the person. And we'll just look at his overall body language, just like how we've done with previous individuals. So let's get into it. Before I play the video, it's on mute to avoid any copyright issues with background music of the original clip, okay? So let's play it. The stranger steps aside to the side of the road, and as Artari's vehicle passes by, he does maintain eye contact with the vehicle, as you can see with his face and his eyes looking this way to the screen. And he maintains that all the way through the clip. You can see a closer up of him. In slow motion, you see his body language and everything. So, there are two key distinct features we need to analyse and look at, and one of which you may not have seen yourself, okay? So, let's get back to this point. Look at his right hand, okay? It looks as if it's shaking up and down or something. There's a bit of movement in his hand. Can you see? Back and forth, you can see it. Up and down. Why is he doing that? Is he waving? Saying hello? It'll become a lot clearer in a second, okay? Because the thing is, if we zoom in on his right hand, if I can get it in frame, when it gets a little bit clearer, it's as if he's doing a certain gesture with his fingers. You might not be able to see quite clearly, but it's as if his thumb is stuck out along with his little finger. I'll show you an example. So basically what the individual is doing is he's got his hand like this and it's going up and down. Don't get the wrong idea, okay? It's going up and down slightly, but his thumb is stuck out as well as his little finger. Now, I don't know how flexible my hand is. It's like that, okay? Like that. And he's kind of like doing something like that on the side of the road. The question is, why would someone do that? Well, from what I've seen, whether it be in the odd movie or clip or something out there, people who tend to do that are doing it as a means of hitchhiking. Some people might put the thumbs up like that on the side of the road, but I've seen other people do that. I know that could also mean call me, hey, call me, like that. But I've also seen hitchhikers do that, sign. So that could possibly highlight it's a hitchhiker. But what is he doing wanting to be picked up by the person of where he's been at previously, hiding in the backyard? Unless he didn't recognise who the person was. Now, the next key observation, which is even more creepy, is it's as if his face shapeshifts or transforms, because for a split second he actually looks like a skeleton, the way his face is. His eyes look dark and sunken. You see his hand gesture, but once it gets to that point, you can see kind of like whiteness. I don't know if that's because he's suddenly smiling, but then there's like a jagged black line on the side of his cheek, like how a skeleton skull would look. And then at one point, it's as if his mouth disappears completely. That's weird. Let's get into a more zoomed in shot, okay? Rewind it, fast forward. Can you see his face? Look at his face, look at his mouth area. Whereabout is it? There you go. You can see his teeth or something, like what a skull would look like. Let's go a bit more. There you go, look at that face. Looks demonic. And then it looks as though his face completely disappears. I'm going to zoom in myself, okay? Just fast forward it. Look at his face as it changes. 1 minute it's like that, next minute it's like that. He's like grinning. It's like a creepy smile or something. Do it back and forth. Tell me if you can see anything. You might just well be smiling, but it's just like a sudden transformation almost. Can you see? Bit creepy. And then once we get a bit further on, I don't know if you can see it on the screen. So he's got that weird grin, and suddenly his mouth's disappeared completely. Where's his mouth gone? Like, beforehand, when he had his mouth shut, you could see his lips, you could see a mouth, the outline of it, but now it's like it's completely disappeared. He's mouthless almost. There you go. Can you see it? And it's just disappeared now. 1 minute it's there, next minute it's not. That's weird. What I'm going to do now is try and get some screenshots, and we're going to try and filter them out and see if we can make it any clearer, okay? Okay, so this is the still shot of the skeleton face as well as the hand gesture. And I'm going to try and edit it if I can, okay? Don't know if I need to zoom in for this or not, but we'll find out. So what effects do we have to begin with? Exposure. I guess that's useful for highlighting features such as the face area and the hand. So that's good. We don't want to change the settings too much because then it might become unnatural. You can make out his hand, hopefully. Shadows. That just gives a little bit of depth. You know, looking at his clothes, it does look a little scruffy and like a bit muddy, but you know, he's been hiding around, crawling through bushes maybe. Yeah, you know, when you turn the setting down that much, look at that face. Can you see it? And it's the side of the cheek. It's almost like there's a hole in the side of his face where it's all black. Because it's only black in areas where it goes in a bit, such as like the eye socket. So why is it like that on the side of his cheek? It's literally like a skeleton. Any other ones? I don't think so. No, that doesn't really help at all. Where's the sharpen tool? That can sometimes make it a little bit better. Right, I think that'll do. Noise reduction. That blurs it out basically, so it does the opposite. Vignette. Do we need vignette? Not really, but I'll just apply it anyway because it can, you know, blanken out the outer skirt area, what we don't need. So am I able to zoom in now? Can you see his hand? How he's kind of got a closed fist, but his thumb is stuck up and his little pinky finger is stuck out to the side, like how I demonstrated. That's what it seems to be like. If I can get the correct filter settings as well, I will play the video back one more time after this in a different filter, okay? And look at his face as well. Can you see that? It just looks oh, what's happened here? It just looks a little bit dodgy in a way. Okay. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Original. Oh God. When I press original, it looks weird. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, let's just try. Where's the preset filters? Do any of these stand out? Make the individual look clearer? It was one of those things, in my opinion, when I saw the video for the very first time, and from a distance, I just thought, ooh, that looks a bit spooky. You know what I'm saying? I know you got to take in consideration video quality, motion blur and all that, but it's just a bit weird when you add it all up together. Let's just move on to the next picture. Which one is it? It's this one. This is the one where I was saying where it looked like his mouth disappeared completely. I don't know if I can get like a side-by-side comparison, like before and after. I don't know. It might show up in this video at some point, okay? Try and do split screen if possible. Exposure, that's what you want, yeah. About there. His cheeks look very sunken, don't they? So that might explain the darkness. But where's his mouth gone? I can't see it. Oh God. That's a bit unusual. What other setting is there? Shadows. Something like that. Contrast. Brightness. Which one? Black point. Ooh, look at that. It looks like his mouth has completely disappeared. What the hell? Because I know this isn't the natural colour tone, but you see what I mean when you look at the mouth area. Oh, pardon that, it's when I tap the screen it fucks up. You know, look at his eyes. First of all, they're pretty sunken, but it's his mouth area. I can't see his mouth. Where's it gone? Where's his mouth gone? Let's try and change the filter or something. Yeah, that is a bit unusual. Zoom out. So you can let me know what you think down below. Right, so I've just set the filter on the video as well. This is what the original looks like, and if I tap it, okay. Okay, so now I've just selected the filter for the video. If I tap once, you'll see what it originally looked like. There you go. And now we're back onto the new filter. Let's try and play this video if possible. Do it about there. And hopefully it's just a little bit clearer in colour, contrast. Let me know if you see anything odd, anything extra, if anything else is present, whether it be items he's holding, carrying, whatever it may be, let me know. So yeah, there you go. And I'll just change the filter one more time to I guess a different one. Should we do black maybe? Noir? That might be a bit too dark. I mean, the noir setting, it kind of highlights the teeth more, the white part, when he must smile, I guess. You might be able to see in the frames. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you saw what I saw with the body language, hand gestures, and even the facial features, and the editing and filtering made it just a little bit clearer for you to see frame by frame, hopefully. In addition to all that, obviously with what Atari has said, you know, that individual has been around in the area beforehand and been hiding or crawling somewhere, you know. Okay, so there's a bit of a dodgy history with that individual. Who knows where they are now, what they're doing next. So it's not just one of those random odd occurrences which you might get from time to time. This has happened before. And I can understand one being maybe a bit cautious or so if they're heading towards your way where you live, because you're thinking what they're going to do. Are they going to come in? Are they going to wait for me or something? You can't be too sure. So with all that in mind, it makes sense to why you might act a certain way. Now, what we need to add in, and this is where it kind of ties in with the whole Kenny Veach stuff, okay? So I don't know if I mentioned it earlier on in the video, but basically the individual who's caught on camera side of the road, they shared certain similarities with the brother Ray Veach in terms of the forehead, I guess the hairline, the length of the hair, the colour, and maybe kind of the face as well. So yes, there are similarities. And we've discussed this before with other stuff in the past, okay, so it's not a big surprise. But it was confirmed by Susan Veach, and Atari gave an update as well in a video in the comment section, that Ray Veach, on the day that occurred, what she caught on camera, Ray was in Las Vegas and was at the healing store doing a class or something. So that clears that up. So there's no issue there, right? I know some people will still complain, but there you go. But the important thing is, and it might not directly apply to Atari this time or now simply because she's not in Las Vegas, but as we've seen previously with Sean, you know, from what Sean has said, he's had odd encounters with people approaching him, people trying to set him up, whether that's fully true or not. And it kind of makes sense because, one, he has been actively involved previously in the Kenny Veach mystery and been pretty hands-on. And I guess the position he's in or was in with the police maybe puts him out there a bit more, makes him stand out more because of contacts he may know of and, I don't know, items he might have, etc. So, because he stands out more and because he's hands-on, maybe family members or friends of family members might intervene and try and silence him or trying to keep him quiet or something. You know, he had threats back in the past as well. And he said something about his vehicle was sabotaged too. So a lot of strange stuff going on, whether it's all true or not, or if it's just all coincidences, you never can be too sure. But if that is really the ultimate case, and he's had waves of not just simple resistance, but threats and attempts made to maybe silence or take him out, then, you know, it's quite serious. And it would make sense to why someone like Atari would be cautious as well, because at one point she was in Las Vegas and she was covering the mystery and doing a lot of background research. And sometimes when you do background research and you dig a bit deeper in that area, you can become more of a target, because sure, face-to-face investigating can cause maybe resistance and can cause you to become a target, but I think there's higher chances if it's done maybe online because of media coverage. You're appealing to a wider audience, you're spreading all the information around, and it's global then. Whereas if you're in real life, in the desert, in Las Vegas, and then what? You just share it to your friends, family, or the odd people that live in Las Vegas. It's not as out there, not as much noise or spread. So if you're sharing background information, which is a bit more sensitive, maybe a bit more private or a bit more personal, or it might trigger a reaction from someone more likely than just going out in the desert, it makes sense to why you could be more of a target in that case. But I guess with Atari where she is, it wouldn't make sense to why Veach family members would come after her now. Just like how, you know, like I guess with the country I'm in, it wouldn't make any sense. Someone coming all the way over and then something happening. It's a bit OTT, right? Exactly. In addition, you wouldn't expect too much resistance. Let's just look at a different way. You know, the people that explore the desert, we're not talking about the military part, okay? Don't get confused. We're just talking about, let's say, the investigators who have gone into the, you know, Jeremy Canyon or somewhere like that, Sheep Peak, Sheep Range, wherever, whatever, trying to look for the cave or trying to look for Kenny too. You wouldn't think you'd be threatened by, you know, people involved in the mystery, such as family members or the odd friends of Kenny, let's say if they were covering for Kenny, because if the family members, or some of them, or friends, or other people, know where Kenny actually is because they're covering for him or they've assisted him in the past, then there would be no need for those people to then come in and then shut down someone who's just wanting to explore and solve the mystery. You might as well just let them do whatever they're doing, because then it's just like a wild goose chase. You're not going to get anywhere. I know there's one person who watches my video that was chasing around some ducks or something, or goose at one point during a storm, but there you go. That's completely unrelated. I mean, I don't even know if they watched this video or not. Forget that. But you get what I'm saying. If you've got an explorer, a hiker, trying to solve the mystery, and they're in a specific location, which really doesn't have much relevance to actually solving it in the end, then there would be no need for family members, friends, or other dodgy contacts to come in and silence that explorer, because they know the explorer isn't going to find anything or get anywhere because Kenny isn't there, so there'd be no need to. Hopefully that makes sense. A bit dragged out that, but I just want to make sure it's very clear. Whereas if you had an individual who might not go the literal physical distance, but they might go the distance with information online or some kind of records, or maybe interviewing, asking certain people close to Kenny, that might ring closer to home, and that might lead to a stronger response from certain people in a negative way, if that makes sense. I think in recent time, as I said, there's not been as much dodgy people around, but because there's not been as much coverage either. So we'll see what will happen next. As said, this video in itself is more of an individual mystery, okay? I'll probably add this into that individual mystery playlist. I know I did briefly bring up Kenny Veach and all that as well, but sometimes there is crossovers, and you might see that in the odd map video too. So hopefully you like the video, found this mystery a bit creepy. If there is any follow-ups, if it is possible to do so, I will, etc. And we'll see what happens next. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.